There are several reasons why certain content creators and creatives would just go for the MacBook Pro instead of other Windows gaming laptops when it comes to their workflow. Because the MacBook Pro offers a really good display that's so color accurate that it just makes sense when it comes to doing serious content creation on the go. So there are many Windows laptops that offer a good display, but we have been seeing an uptrend in better displays such as the Dell XPS 15's 4K OLED display that displays really nice blacks and contrast. But the problem of OLED displays is that over the years of ownership, they tend to decay and you will actually have burn-in if you are not careful with them. Which is why the MSI Creator 17 is here to solve the problems of OLED. This is the world's first laptop with a mini LED display. It has 1000 nits of brightness, which is higher than OLED displays. It is HDR certified and it has 240 local dimming zones, which is a lot on its 17-inch display that offers better blacks, better contrast, and also better HDR performance as compared to a 4K OLED display. So I've been checking out the MSI Creator 17 for a couple of days already. I didn't really have a lot of time with it, so I'm just going to make this video really brief and talk about my thoughts about this laptop. The MSI Creator 17 doesn't look too different from its other siblings, the 17M or even the P75 or the GS75. They are essentially using the same chassis as you can see. It's just that you do not get the RGB lighting on the keyboard just like its gaming sibling. And in terms of build quality, it's actually pretty robust. There's actually a little bit of flex, but that's actually okay. MSI claims this machine is military 810 standard certified, so it could actually withstand some bumps and all this without much issues. And I actually really like the keyboard because it actually has some good key space for a good typing experience. The trackpad is actually good to touch as well. It has a really wide surface that you can actually do gestures really well. There's a fingerprint reader right here, and on top you get an IR camera that does Windows Hello face recognition. So one thing that sets the MSI Creator 17 different from the rest of its siblings is the ports. Now, this thing has a generous amount of ports, including 2 USB-C ports, which one of them supports Thunderbolt 3 and the other one supports USB 3.2 Gen 2 speeds, and it also supports USB PD 100-watt charging as well. So if you happen to forget to bring the power brick of this thing, which is actually pretty heavy by all means, it's like this big. This is a 230-watt charger that's really not light at all. You are just lazy to carry this thing. You can actually charge this laptop up using a USB PD power bank or adapter, which is actually pretty convenient. And the next difference is that it has a micro SD card slot, and it's just not any micro SD card slot. This thing supports UHS 3 micro SD cards that can go up to 624 megabytes per second of transfer speed. Although I still do not know which SD card could actually offer that kind of speed, but you know, it's actually future-proof enough. And on top of that, you're getting 3 standard size USB 3.2 ports, a RJ45 port, and finally it has Wi-Fi 6 on board, which is different from the rest of its siblings. Now, let's talk about my user experience using this thing. Now, to be honest, I really enjoy looking at this display because it is really the most beautiful display that I've ever seen on a laptop. And I actually prefer a matte surface as compared to the glossy ones because sometimes when I'm actually working outside, the glossy display kind of gets me because it has that really annoying reflection, and this one doesn't have it. And since it has a really great brightness at 1000 nits, it can easily just blind you when you're using indoors. So this is going to be a great display if your workflow involves working outdoors, such as doing production and so on. This is going to be a great display. So I have been watching some HDR content on this thing, and to be honest, the dynamic range that this display is able to offer is simply amazing. Just take a look at the comparison right now where we are showing one part HDR and the other part isn't HDR. You can see that the display does really well when it comes to showing dynamic range of the entire video, where the clouds are bluer and some highlights are actually better presented, and you also see better detail in that HDR video with this mini LED display. Like I mentioned, this is actually all thanks to the 240 local dimming zones, as it knows when to actually dim that particular area to display a better contrast. And also MSI has also calibrated this display so that it is actually Delta E less than 2 accurate. So this is actually a very color accurate display that most of you would really enjoy doing creative work or even watching movies on this. Now, the MSI Creator 17 has a lot of power to spare for creative work. This is the top spec model that I'm using right here, which comes with a Core i7-10875H processor. It has 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, which is upgradable up to 64 gigs if you know how to take out the bottom panel. And it has a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 with Maxio design GPU, which is sufficient for most video editing purposes. This thing can definitely game. I have tested a couple of games on it and it actually runs pretty well. But the one thing that you will need to take note is the fan noise. This thing gets really noisy when it is on load because of MSI's Cooler Boost Trinity Plus system. It has 3 fans cooling the entire system, so it gets really noisy when it gets loaded. But the good thing about this is that the temperatures are actually pretty decent. And in terms of battery life, MSI claims that you can do up to 7 hours plus of productivity usage, which, to be honest, isn't true in my usage. Because when I tried using this just for web browsing, even set to power saving mode, this laptop just died on me about 3.5 hours later. So that's actually half of what MSI claims it to be. So overall, I would say that the MSI Creator 17 is a really great content creation laptop if you are really thinking to just get this for the sake of its mini LED display because you care about the color accuracy of your work a lot. And this thing isn't cheap at all, as MSI is selling this for 14,000 ringgit, which by all means you can already get way better and faster gaming laptops out there, albeit just not a good display. So as a content creator myself, I would definitely go for this laptop if I'm really serious about color grading on the go and I want the most accurate colors on my work, because it's not every time that we can carry our design monitors all around, and this is definitely way convenient than an external monitor, and those monitors don't really offer great colors as well. So yeah, this has been my quick thought of using the MSI Creator 17 for this couple of days. It's definitely a great performing laptop that you can't go wrong with if you want a great display, good performance, and ultimately an overall good user experience. So that's it for my video for today. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and be sure to follow us on the usual social media places. I'm Warren with KLGadgetTV, and I will see you in our next video.